Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
This episode we are talking about the slasher film Clown in a Cornfield, directed by Eli Craig and released May 9th, 2025.
Oh my goodness, another recent film.
Yeah, one from earlier this year that I've had on my radar for pretty much this whole time since it came out, and just finding the right time to want to dive into it. But this week felt right. And also, I think really what made me be like, oh, I got to get on with this is like, then just remembering, I was like, oh yeah, it's Eli Craig. Like, we've always had a good time with his other movies that we've covered on here.
We have.
Of course, those of you remember, there's Little Evil, which we had a lot of fun with. And then, of course, one of my favorite movies of all time, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. So, yeah, got to return to Eli Craig.
That's how you sold me on it. You're like, it's the same guy who did Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and I was in as soon as you said that, because it's like, yeah, we had so much fun with both of those movies, but I had never seen either of them until we covered them for the podcast. And now I feel like I need to go watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil again, just because.
Yeah. Never a bad idea. A rewatch is always good.
Always. Okay, so I had seen Clown in a Cornfield popping up on Shudder and on, like, recommended for me to watch. But I was like, I don't know. Is that a real movie, or is it going to be one of those movies that I'm going to watch and be like, why did I do this? And then I watched it. And I have to tell you, I've got opinions, which is great because we have a podcast, and that's what we do.
To have. Yeah. I guess before we get too deep in it, I'll rip off the Band-Aid. As far as Eli Craig movies go, this one's probably my least favorite. I don't know. I did really enjoy it. I liked it, and there's a lot of stuff that we'll talk about that I enjoyed. But I don't know, after Tucker and Dale, which was like such a subversion of the genre, and then like even Little Evil also kind of taking your like Omen, Demon Child kind of genre, and again flipping on its head and doing different stuff with it. This one just felt like very cookie cutter slasher movie with your like reveal of the killer. It's like multiple killers. Then it kind of has this like, hot fuzz.
Yes.
Townsend on it kind of like vibe to it, which is fun, but it's still, I don't know, not as much of a twister. I was like, yeah, it's a slasher movie. Got it. Like, even like to the point which, of following so many very specific tropes to a T.
It did. And I got serious hot fuzz vibes. In the beginning, especially when they're first coming into town, just looking at the townspeople, I just had this real sinister vibe to it. But as soon as I started to figure it out, like Chris and I were talking, not through the whole movie, we were talking about specific things like, oh, who do you think it is? And as soon as I thought I figured out who I thought it was, it flipped it around and it wasn't. And so I kept getting deflected from things because I like to figure out like who's behind things. And with this one, honestly, when they all came out of the cornfield, like all the clowns, all the friendos, that's when I'm like, okay, so it's hot fuzz. So it's not Cole. Okay. It's not Rust. It's not...
Those were also my two first suspects as well. So, yeah. Which I think, they purposely want you to do that.
Yeah. And then I thought, okay, they're working together. And then they're not working together. This is just how it is. It's the town, so it's Hot Fuzz. It's not Scream, because I thought it could be Scream that they were working together. And yeah, it kind of threw me a little bit, and then I just decided to surrender to the ride of what we were seeing, and the fact that Kevin Durand didn't sound like Kevin Durand in this movie, and that threw me for a loop, because I'm used to him having this specific voice in his characters. Mm-hmm. He did not have that voice, not really, and that threw me so much, because
Southern Joker.
Yes! I'm like, I don't know. And then I questioned if it was him at first. I'm looking at him and I'm like, is that Kevin Durand? But no, because Kevin Durand always sounds the same in every movie. He's always got the same voice. And then I had to look it up, because you have to look it up. I mean, you have to know. I'm like, that's Kevin Durand. It is him, but he doesn't sound like him. And then the whole thing at the end with the Joker and all of that. Yeah. I honestly, this was a ride that I didn't know I needed, and I'm glad I went on it, but I'm with you in that I think it is probably, of the 3 movies, it's probably third.
Yeah. But still worth the watch. And
absolutely.
I did enjoy it, and definitely had some like great laugh out loud moments and like good reveals and some fun stuff that I enjoyed.
Yeah. So let me entertain you with a few production notes before we dive into the Quinn Show, which is what I've been calling this. It was filmed in Stonewall and Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I guess that's a popular place. Based on the novel Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare, which I need to look into this because maybe I need to read it or listen to it or something. You already mentioned that Eli Craig brought us 2 of the other films we covered. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil we covered on episode 152, if you want to check that movie out and then check out that episode. And Little Evil that we covered on episode 145.
That sounds...
I know.
Really?
Yes.
In my brain, there's no way we did Little Evil before
but
Tucker
we did.
and Dale, but wow.
I know, I checked it.
I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really figured, why did it take us that long to do Tucker and Dale? What's wrong with me?
I don't know. That's on you, because you'd seen it already.
And that we did Little Evil first is wild. Yeah, okay, yeah. The numbers don't lie, but I would have bet you hundreds of dollars that we did Tucker and Dale before we did Little Evil. That's wild.
Well, I thought so too. And then when I saw it, I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So the budget for this one was $1 million, and it grossed $21.5 million at the box office. I think that's a hit.
Mm-hmm.
96 minutes long. Pake, bring us the synopsis you revised, because you're a grammar nerd.
In a fading Midwestern town, a symbol of bygone success, Friendo the Clown, reemerges as a terrifying scourge.
Yes. If you have calorophobia, I would not recommend watching this movie. It's likely to be triggering with the number of clowns.
It's in the title, so hopefully people would know.
I would hope so. But I know that there are some people that listen to our podcast to decide whether or not they're going to watch the movie at all. That would be Damien. That has happened. He has told me multiple times that he will listen to our podcast and then decide if he can handle the movie.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, I guess. You're spoiled, but maybe you need to be spoiled in order to get through it. Yeah. I realized that Eli Craig only directs a movie every 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, what actually made me decide to choose this one, because I think we were going in sort of a different direction as a possibility.
We were.
Week. And then it literally was just me scrolling through like Facebook or whatever, and I came across, I think it is Shudder, but it was an interview with Eli Craig about this movie. But they weren't talking about this movie. They were talking about Tucker and Dale.
Oh, okay.
Just the section that I caught in like a reel or whatever video. But then I was like, oh, I love that. So I was like, oh, it's Eli Craig talking about Tucker and Dale. So I'm going to watch that video. And then during that, he mentioned, oh yeah, but this interview is about Clown in a Cornfield. And like, it just made me remember, it's like, oh yeah, he did do that movie and that came out. Like, I'd forgotten about that. So it's like, we haven't seen that yet. And it's his first one since Little Evil. So that's when I just texted you and I was like, how about we do this instead? Because now it's all I want to do. It's all I want to watch this week.
Sometimes when you want to watch a movie and it fits the genre that we cover on this podcast, it's easier just to throw it into the mix so we can get excited and watch it.
Yeah. Because the question was, it was like, they were asking him about like, why haven't you directed a lot more stuff? Like after Tucker and Dale and its success, like cult success at least, it's like there have to be like studios and like other people who have come to you to direct different things. Like the money's got to be coming at you after Tucker and Dale. And he basically said that like money's not really an issue with him. Like he prefers to only pick and choose like the very select things that like he really wants to do. He's very selective about what he's going to do. And so he's like, yeah, after Tucker and Dale, like people have wanted to do this or do that. And he's like, but if it didn't feel 100% right to me, I just pass on it. He's like, must be nice, right? But
yeah.
Like,
wow. It must be nice to be able to say yes or no. Yeah. Based on if you believe in the project or not. There were things about this movie. I have a lot of little comments about different things. The suspicion was thrown around so many times to different people, and I wasn't sure until the clowns came out of the cornfield, and then it was like, okay, I guess this is Hot Fuzz. Mm-hmm. And I should have seen maybe the signs coming because there were other things that reminded me, not just because it's the town, but it kind of in addition to, okay, yes, it's definitely a town. If you look at the way that the grown-ups were treating the kids.
Yeah. Another hot, scary clown IP, think of It, like, which is fun because this is, at the time we're recording this, like Welcome to Derry is in like peak, like kickoff on HBO Max. And so like It and Pennywise is a lot of people's minds. But yeah, it's also, it kind of gave that like Derry vibe a little bit. You're like, there is something off. Like all the adults are just like assholes.
Yeah. Like they blame the kids. The kids are constantly in trouble for nothing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even poor Quinn, who's our heroine in this tale, just goes to class and is late for no reason, or rather no fault of her own. Mm-hmm. And because she was explaining it, gets a detention. I mean, these people they're stuck in their old ways of things. They have definitive thoughts on how things should be. And these kids, they're not really doing anything wrong. They are mischievous. Mm-hmm. I mean, Cole does have a vlog crew, basically. They're out making videos.
Yeah.
Which I found that hilarious, like the way that little group was. And I had to keep looking when I watched it a second time because I was trying to see if I would notice more about Cole. Because I think, first get an impression of him and then you realize he's much more complicated than what you think at first.
That is one thing I'll give this movie is the subversion they did really well was with that group of kids. Because like when you first meet them, it is very much because they are the quintessential once she joins the group as the new kid. But they very much have like, they fit that role of like, stereotype teen group in a lot of movies, especially like your slasher horror movies, which Cole, even though he's not like a stoner, he kind of has that like, oh, I'm like the stoner, like the quiet, like too cool kid that's going to sit in the back and like just whatever. But then, of course, you have the jock and then, like, not really the nerd, but, like, the guy who does... So Tucker was, like, the guy who did all the videos, and he was, like, the techie kind of guy. Then you have just, like, the blonde popular girl, and then, like, her best friend who's dating another member, which was, like, Ronnie. Like,
yeah.
It was just one of those very stereotype, like, oh, yeah, this is the group of teens in the slasher movie.
Yes, absolutely.
To a T. And so when you first meet them and you start kind of getting that, you're like, they're going to be annoying as hell. Like, they're going to be the jock and the cheerleader. Like, you're waiting for them to, like, fill those roles. Like, and they're all going to be assholes, and they're going to be rude to Quinn. They're going to be terrible people. And, like, they have their moments. Like, Janet wasn't great. But at the same time, it's like, it turns on its head. And it doesn't take long for you to go, oh, actually, I like this group of kids. Like, I don't think I would, but then they're actually really cool. Like, they go out and, like, have a YouTube series that they film, and they do. I was like, oh, these are actually really cool characters. I thought they were going to be, like, the characters that you hate through the movie. And no, instead, they're the ones that you, like, latch onto and you're like, I actually like them. And start liking them more, especially Cole, as the movie goes on. To where it got to the point where I'm like, even where I wasn't sure what the twist was going to be, I was like, I don't trust him because I know better because I've seen all these movies, but I want to because I really like him.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be the love interest, the quintessential love interest, because that's usually what happens in these friend groups.
And he absolutely was for a period of time in this movie, and then it, like, got flipped on its head a little bit, which was cool.
It did, and I wasn't expecting it, but there were things about him and the way he interacted with her in the physical sense that made me think something more was happening, or there was something different about him, because she was the one advancing, like, making the advances towards him. And even as early as when they're out at this, I mean, it basically looked like I think it was like a junkyard, and they're talking about their losses, about her mom and him about his sister. And she puts her head on his shoulder, and there's something about the way he is about that, or how his mannerisms that made me think there's more to him than what I think, because he's not after her. Like, he's not making these advances, but he still seems like he's interested in her in some way.
Yeah.
Because he wants her to come hang out with him. Like, he wants her to come to the party. He wants her to be there. And I'm like, okay, so this is complicated with him. Yeah. Because he's not the alpha male, which is what Matt was, the jock. But there's something different about him. And so when I watched it the second time, I noticed a couple of other nuances, and I'm like, okay, yeah. But I didn't know that it was going to go in that direction the first time I watched it. And I'm glad it did, honestly. I thought it was great, because it was not what is expected in these movies. It's always the girl is going to fall in love with the guy, and the guy's going to save her, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Quinn did a lot of her own saving of her own butt. And I appreciated that a lot, because that's not always what we get to see. I mean, she channeled Grace from Ready or Not, really. It was great. I appreciated that a lot. And, I mean, Quinn is our main character. And when I was creating the doc, I just, for me, there was Quinn, and there was Cole, and the vlog crew. And then all the auxiliary characters around that in the town.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I broke it up to, like, Quinn. Yeah, and then I just, like, Cole and others is, like, just, like, that whole... But then I do have the Friendo Brigade, as I called them, just, like, the killers and some of those things. And then Dr. Maybrook, Quinn's dad, I gave him his own little section.
You did?
He definitely had his own thing going on for a little bit that was very important.
Oh, definitely.
But I think quintessentially, we start with Quinn. Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely the main character of this movie. Which we get her, moving to this town with her doctor father. And it was immediately, I was like, kind of speaking of the tropes, I was like, well, we're starting at a disadvantage. It's never good for the new doctor that moves into town. I've seen these movies before.
It is not good for the new doctor. Definitely not.
Yeah, and I did like that they show and not tell at first. But before she even is talking to Cole about her mom, you already know that because you see the two of them and it's like her dad seems real zoned out. Like there's definitely a lot on his mind. And he's like kind of struggling to figure out this like single father kind of thing. And then of course there's the pictures of like her and her mom in her room that she's looking at. And like you can tell like it was pretty recent because she doesn't look like a young girl in those pictures.
Right.
Like, oh, this is them trying to move on from something that's recent and fresh. Like you get that just by looking at it without her ever saying anything. And then you get the weight of it when she's talking to Cole about like, oh, it was last summer and it was an overdose and it's like a really heavy thing. So it really feels like a uprooting their life to run away from something.
Yeah. And then she has that conversation later with her dad about running away. This is what we do now. And I get the impression that she's taking care of her dad. Like she's trying to be the strong one and taking care of him because he's not strong enough to be able to deal with his own emotions. And you imagine what it must be like, to lose your wife and be raising your daughter on your own, not something that you probably ever thought you would be doing. And you're trying to run to feel or to not feel, basically. You don't want to feel those emotions. And she calls him out on it. And I like their dynamic because I feel like it seemed honest to me that the conversation, especially that they had about her telling him, yes, I'll move if that's what you need, but then him not thinking about what she needs or wants. And there being that confusion between the two of them. And I really appreciated that conversation that they had. And just the little things where she makes a comment about, I'm 17, I don't need a ride, I need a car. And he is working on that. But then there's all of this breakdown of communication where she's trying to tell him that there's something wrong with the adults in the town. Yeah. And he's not really listening. He just is assuming she's acting out or getting into trouble and doesn't want her around Cole and trusts what the sheriff says. And I mean, it's crazy the way that worked out. And I really liked their conversation, the dynamic between the two of them. Like they have each other. And even at the end of the movie, no one's taking her away to school. She's going on, she's driving herself.
Yeah.
And I liked that. Because I think it's true to who her character is.
Yeah.
She needs to do that on her own. She doesn't need her dad to do that because I get the impression she grew up very fast after her mom died. Whatever maturing she needed to do happened when her mom died and she was left with her dad and he was a mess. Mm-hmm. I mean, he bought a house and she didn't even think that he had visited it. It just was, it was kind of a mess. And I think the house kind of represented where they were at. It was a disaster.
Yeah, just like jumping into something without any idea what you're really getting into. And then, it's again, classic, just creepy vibe kind of place. Like Kettle Springs is this town. Very creepy vibe to it. Just like the people sitting around staring at them. And like you get those, like the adults are just like off.
Yes.
And things are off. And then I was like, and then Rust is like the first like real person like we really meet. And the fact that he just like shows up unannounced to walk to school with Gwen. Like, I'm your neighbor. I saw you moved in and now I'm going to walk. I was like, it's not helping the creep factor.
It made me think of Stepford Wives, where there are only a few people in the community that are normal or left that are normal, and so they're all trying to bond together. So I got that vibe from that at first, and then I'm like, no, this isn't Stepford. This is the adults. There's something definitely wrong with them. It's very Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, so Rust was an interesting one to meet first because I was like, I mean, he seems like a nice guy, I guess, but I trust nothing. So like your brain immediately is going like, random nice kid that shows up like, hey, I'll walk you to school. He's killing everybody. Watch out. Like, you know, because he's like, look out, there's some weird people. And it's like, yeah, it's probably you. So then you don't know about trusting him. And then she meets the other kids. And as I said, like, you kind of get the stereotype with them. But then you like kind of bond to them because, you know, she meets them by them all kind of teaming up, but revolting against the asshole teacher, Mr. Vern.
Oh my
they're just like sticking it to him. And it was great. But then, you know, they all wind up in detention afterwards, which, you know, we got to have them all there so that Quinn can get her Founders Day evil clown exposition that she needs for the movie. Gotta make sure they're all there to explain everything that's going on to her. That's where you learn about Cole, that, yeah, his family is like the family that runs this town, that his great-grandfather started this Bay Pen corn syrup company that was huge for the town, like was like their main like sole source of like income. And it was like, I think at one point, Mr. Hill, Arthur Hill, Cole's father, even says like, it was the national brand for a period of time, and it really was what kept this town running. And then, you know, because you think like, oh, this place has been in shambles for a while, and you like learn like, actually not really, like it's pretty recent that what happened. Spoiled to go ahead, because of course like they think that, oh, Cole and his friends burned the place down and they're kind of the pariahs there, only to like realize like, oh no, like the finances and like the standing of this town was actually on a downhill slope for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that was why what actually happened was Arthur Hill burned it down himself, and then making his own son a scapegoat.
Yes.
For like the insurance money and all that, which, yeah, I'm jumping way ahead, but like, you're like, oh, that's what really happened. But you're seeing, you know, you're learning all this about the town and like why it's in such a rough place. And then of course the clown, you're getting the local urban legend that, has been turned into like a serial killer icon through this YouTube channel that the kids are doing. And I was like, oh, okay. Once I learned that, I was like, okay, honestly, I think these kids seem pretty cool.
I liked the kids. Yeah. I wanted them to survive. They were ridiculous. I mean, the whole parade thing that Matt did on the unicycle with that was only ever going to end badly.
Out of all of that group, Matt's the one that's most surprising to me that he had unicycle skills. Like, I know he's the athletic one, but I wouldn't have expected him to be a unicycle guy.
No, not at all. It seemed out of character, but it worked.
Yeah.
It totally worked until it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the town seems to blame Cole and his friends for burning down the factory and causing everyone to be out of work and making it this big deal. And again, yes, like you said, his dad's just letting them.
Mm-hmm.
He's letting them believe that his son did it. It's like he's washed his hands of him, you know, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. We've talked about Quinn and Cole a lot, but yeah, like sharing their trauma stories. I was like, man, last summer was rough for both of them. We already talked about like Quinn's mom, Cole's sister, and then like that, like bonding. And then of course, like when they're in the car when he drives her home, and then they do kiss for a little bit, and then her dad comes out and busts it up. Which then, so at this point, I had made this note being like, yeah, I saw that coming, that they were going to like hook up without knowing what was coming later. But it was like, but you saw that like spark between them the second that he stood up for her to the teacher, where it's like, you know, and then ended up with like detention too, because he was like, she doesn't know any better. Like what, you know, and I was like, yeah, he seems very sweet. So again, I don't trust anything.
No, all I could see was Scream. Like the whole thing was with, oh my God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But anyway, yes, Scream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking they paint this picture and then it's going to be something else. And so I've just got to see what happens with this.
Yeah. So yeah, Quinn keeps getting into trouble, even though like detention and then jail, and even though she's done nothing, but her dad is just like, you know, whatever, like kind of keeping her house arrest in a way. And I notice as she's like on the bed, like texting with Cole before the party, she has a pillow on her bed that has like a cute kitten on it, but then I think it says something like "fuck off" on it, and I was like, "That's really cool. I like that."
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, we go to the barn party, the barn rave, which is the same barn where we opened the movie. In the 90s. With the again, the classic like slasher movie opening where it's like, you know, young people wandering off, getting murdered, title sequence.
Yeah.
You know?
Because they were going off to get up to trouble or do nothing good. So, of course, they have to do that.
Yeah, so they're back at this barn with this party. And I was like, well, obviously this party's going to go off without a single hitch or fucked up thing happening at all. Like, it's going to be fine. Well,
I mean,
nothing bad can happen
We
here.
were subjected to Cole's dance moves, which I don't think they were that bad. I think when he was dancing with Quinn, it kind of worked. It was the solo stuff that wasn't,
Right, he's just so white.
Yes.
What are you gonna do? He did the best he could.
He did.
Yeah, and then while they're there, Matt and Tucker have already died. Which again, because I said I've got like friendo notes, so it's all kind of more like those like horror scenes. But then you see like, they're not there and they haven't been texting, but it's like it's not even really that weird to the kids because they're like, oh, so they're planning some kind of prank. Like, we'll see them later. Yeah. Which is like why when the first clown comes out with like the one like dead girl with the arrow in her back,
they don't believe
Quinn starts
it.
to freak out. But then like, Ronnie and Janet are like, no, it's Matt and or Tucker. Like, it's like we've talked about this. Like, we knew something was going to happen.
To the point that they're like tossing Matt's head around, thinking it's a rubber head or some sort of like creation. Like it's not his real head.
She should be able to tell the difference. I would think.
You would think
she's like,
so.
You got corn syrup all over me. It's like, you should be able to also tell the difference immediately between corn syrup and real blood when it's all over your face.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like this first clown that comes out and attacks them. Which, goes like haywire, crazy. Good thing Rust is there to blast him. And so you're like, well, that can't be it. It's like, there's still plenty of movie left. So that can't be the end of just killing the clown. And so before they are even able to unmask him, that's, when they realize he was not alone. That's a really cool scene, is them all like stepping out. That's a whole lot of friendos.
Yes, absolutely. I liked how they kind of kept the tension going as long as they could she goes to take his mask off, but she doesn't do it. And then they start to come out of the cornfield. It's like, well, you think it's one person and you think it might be Cole, but it's not Cole. Right. It's a whole bunch of others. And you're just trying to figure out who it is. And it's hard. Like you don't know for sure. At that point, I thought, okay, it might be Cole and Rust working together. Because again, you can't trust anything. You have to be so careful what you trust. Yeah.
Yeah, so we get them. Yeah, then they reunite with Cole. They're in the other little room where Quinn and Cole were like hooking up before, or about to.
That.
Kinda.
Quinn tried. She did try.
I had to rewind that so many times because I could not. The music they mix it. I was like, I couldn't hear what he said.
Yeah,
setting her off. I was like, what was it? Finally, I got frustrated. I was like, I can't make out what he's saying. I went and found the transcript online and was just reading through it because I couldn't get subtitles to work for whatever reason where I was watching it. But I was like, okay, transcript. What is he saying? And because I was like, what is it that he said that like freaked her out so much? And what it was. Because he was saying, let's take it slow. And she was like playing into it. It's like, oh, you like it when I slowly kiss you. She was like, ooh, slower like this. Like you want to like be teasy and like real sexy. And then finally he goes like, no, like let's get another beer kind of slow is what he said. And so that's why like he makes the hint. It's like, I'm not into this. And so that's what Lisa's like, oh, something. Oh, she's like, oh, I made a miscalculation. And so he was like, there's so much going on in my head and I'm trying to figure it out. And she's like, clearly you do that.
Yeah. And then she feels embarrassed is basically, she feels completely embarrassed by the situation and feels like maybe she misread the signals. And I watched it, honestly, I can totally see why she would think he was into her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it isn't until she goes outside and talks to Janet and Ronnie and they're talking about her being rejected and Janet was not nice. She wasn't nice.
At all.
Which leads me to believe Janet's been down the road of Cole. Like, it's,
which they still didn't even know why.
Right.
He's built this reputation of just rejecting any girl. It's like he rejects everybody. And it's like, well, there's a reason for that, but he's hasn't come to terms with that himself.
Nope.
Yet.
And that takes time and he needs to do it at his own pace. However, he shouldn't be leading somebody on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that he didn't do it in a malicious way.
Yeah.
I think he was genuinely interested in her as a person. Like, I think he liked her.
Sure.
And we've talked about on this podcast before about platonic friendships and how they can be just, really an important part of your life. Just like other types of relationships.
Yeah, for sure. So they go back to that room and there's a lot of notes that I can skip over because it's like more like clown stuff. But, with Rust being there with them and they have this like escape plan, which I was like, I don't know if the whole explosion was really that necessary for them to pop up 20 feet away. But,
No, I don't think it was, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we're going to run through the cornfield. Cornfield is in the title of the movie, too. It's important. We got to get through there.
Yes.
Just a lot of stuff. I was like, well, yeah, Ronnie was next. She called it.
Yeah.
But then we get Quinn, and because then, Cole gets arrested and taken by Will Sasso.
Sheriff Dunn.
Which, as soon as he showed up, I was like, Will Sasso, that's somebody I haven't seen in a hot minute. Been a while.
Well, he's here. Just for you.
Yes. Because that's like Mad TV days. He hasn't done a whole lot like that. What a throwback, seeing Will Sasso in something.
Again, reinforcing the fact that there's something fucked up about the adults in this town.
But yeah, so then we're now left with just Quinn and Janet at this point, and they get to this Tillerson house. And I love Gen Z being fully confused by a rotary phone.
I
gag.
loved
It's
that
like,
so much.
Only a matter of time until we saw that in a movie. I you're like,
it.
Yeah, no, that's...
I'm assuming, Pake, you've seen and used a rotary phone before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good. I'm proud of you.
My own great-grandfather had one in his study, in his office, at his house in Dallas, and, I would always play with it, and it's like, it's not a toy, you can't just be dialing random numbers, but I'm like, but it's so cool.
I'm pretty sure my brother dialed Japan on it once at my grandmother's.
I think there's still one at my dad's house. It's not in commission anymore. It's just hanging on the wall and you can play with it.
Do you imagine it would still work? Like a rotary phone, would it work? I mean, I just think, too, when we play that murder trivia party game and you can never get the 0 to work.
Yeah. As a landline, I'm sure it still works just fine if the mechanisms are there.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was a fun gag, and then being like, where are the buttons? How does this work? And then we get Janet's death scene, which was crazy, kind of mimicking the opening with the guy getting picked up with the pitchfork.
Yep.
Same thing. She gets picked up and thrown into the the lights up ahead and getting electrocuted and all that. I was like, all right, we're going crazy death scene. And then I kind of had to laugh. It ends with her dying on the floor. next to the clown because Quinn pulls the pitchfork out of her, uses the same pitchfork on the clown, and then he falls next to her and they both bleed out and die. And their last words I thought was really funny, of Janet looking and going, "I hate you, Quinn," and then the dying clown going, "Me too."
I looked at that as, you know what, Quinn is badass and we're just going to take it. I'm down with it. I'm glad that she's badass.
Yes. And then so after that, then we realize, that the clowns are after Quinn. Then instead of just like killing her somewhere, like in order to set this all up and cover things the way they need to, they actually need to take her alive, kidnap her, so they can like have this whole story of like, well, Cole is the one that killed everybody at the barn, and then he killed his girlfriend, and then himself was like the story they're trying to build. So they got to take her away, and you think she's gonna get away, but that's right, she gets into that truck, and then it's can't drive stick. Is like, well, you better wing it and figure it out. Nope. Damn, never mind.
Nope,
not gonna happen.
She's got a problem with stick. She just can't. Mm-hmm. I have to ask. That barn was full of people. Where the hell did they all go?
Right. Oh wait.
Did they all go back in the barn and close the door to party and pretend nothing was happening outside?
Right. Let's just keep going. Well, they can't get the music kicked back up. The DJ got shot in the head.
That is true. That is true. I don't know if they had a backup plan for that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. But yeah, so we get to this warehouse, back to the factory. And then where Quinn's like sitting against this like pipe and stuff. And I was like, well, the flammable warning stickers that were all on this pipe. I was like, well, that's got to be important, I assume. And then, no, big old negative. Never came back. But, that's
deflection.
Fine.
It's all about deflection.
Because it was still a cool sequence, a lot of stuff there. At least just for Quinn, while we're on her. The cattle prod kill on the sheriff.
I loved that. When she took
creative.
him out.
That was fun.
He's thinking he goes in there thinking he's going to take her out, and she's pulled a fast one on him. And yes, she was dressed up as a clown, or she had used a disguise. Not the one he thought, or she wasn't where he thought she was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Like, you take him out.
So yeah, there's a guy. That's really the only person like she took out, because like it was things that were like collapsing after her dad drove through the wall that took out two of the others, and then the teacher, Mr. Verne, ran off, and then Mr. Hill drove away as well after leaving his son to die there. But yeah, they were able to get, with Rust showing up and getting Cole down, and we'll talk more about like some of the aspects of that. But with Quinn, at least, is after everything kind of settles, I did like that ending parts. Like they even after a survived night of killer clowns, there's still this chance for a father and daughter moment, a bonding moment of teaching his daughter to drive stick. And like this thing is like with the boys in the backseat, I was joking. It reminded me of because it was like the guy that she's had a crush on this whole movie, and then his boyfriend.
Yes. And
it made me think it was like April in Parks and Rec. This is my boyfriend Derek, and this is Derek's boyfriend Ben. Yes. I had that like moment where it's like, this is my boyfriend Cole, and this is Cole's boyfriend Russ.
Yep. Yes. And it's not awkward at all. Cole just needs to come to terms with his sexuality, and then things will be okay. It seems like Rust has already come to terms with his own sexuality. Yeah. So now we just have to wait for Cole to go through and process.
I don't think it takes very long.
No, not at all.
Once surviving an attempted hanging, and then being saved by Rust, I think that pretty much did it for him.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, cool. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. I mean, I loved that her dad was teaching her to drive in a literal clown car, basically, because that's what it was.
Yeah, and that clown car has some great windshield wipers.
Oh, it definitely... Very effective. Very effective. Good. So, I wondered, I have to ask this. Where the hell did Cole's father go?
So, I have an answer for that.
You do?
But I'm not going to... I have a very spoilery answer, and I have a not spoilery. We're going to do not spoilery. Because I had that same thought. I was like, what about Cole's dad? Where did he run off to? Because at the end of the movie, we see, like, Dr. Maybrook is running for office to, like, take his place or something.
Yes.
So it's like, I feel like the truth about him has come out.
Mm-hmm.
at the point that they jump in the future. So like he's, hightailed it out of town. He's gone. So I looked into this. So this is before I even saw that you had put this in like the production notes earlier. This is based on a book of the same name. And there is a second book that could become a sequel to this movie. If they end up following along that, which is why Hill escapes. That is in line with the source material, is he also does escape at the end of the first book. And without getting spoilery, if they make a sequel to this movie, there is source material, there is a second book, and that would explain exactly what he's been up to. And
I so need to read the second book. I feel the need to read it.
And I did look into it a little bit with articles, so like I know some of the details, like what the storyline would be of a second movie. And yeah, maybe I'd be down for it if Eli Craig decides to go for it.
Yeah, not a different director. It's got to be Eli Craig. He's got to continue it. I don't want someone else meddling in with the story that he brought to life this way. Like, I don't want, if these characters come back, if some of these characters come back, I don't want them mishandled.
And I feel like him making the choice to keep it in line with the book and have Arthur Hill just be gone and not be explained. There's not even a post-credit scene or anything. It's just like, it's left up in the air. I feel like that is done on purpose to where he might be considering making the sequel and doing the other book as well.
Eli Craig, we'd love it if you would, and we would love to cover it if you did it.
And don't wait like 7 or 8 years before doing it.
No.
Be great if we just like get on that.
Yeah.
If you want.
Get on that.
But yeah, so that's pretty much Quinn. So then I know you said really the only other thing you have is like kind of Cole and the others. And we've talked a lot.
We have talked about
them. It's like that friend group and kind of with the roles they filled. Them going into the convenience store. I love the classic fucked your grandma routine. It works every time.
I've never seen anything like it, and I laugh so hard. And, we see the shop clerk later.
Yeah. We like the factory fire we talked about a little bit, that it happened while the group was filming a video there, but then they say like we had nothing to do with it. And they even believe like someone was framing them. And that's kind of explains through a lot of the movie before you get the big twist. It's like, oh, so that's why like the sheriff and everyone else are anti-teenager.
Yep. They are. It was kind of annoying the way that they were treating them. But I also, there was something at the end that Cole was saying, when we talk about him, if we're on him, I loved what he said. You're fucking sick. You know that. You just pretend to care. You're so worried about what's wrong with the kids when you guys are the ones who fucked everything up. You don't care about the earth. You don't care about the next generation. Well, guess what? The world's going to change whether you like it or not. And I know that scares the shit out of you, because if you can't have things the way that you want them, you'd rather burn it all to the fucking ground. You'd rather kill us than just listen. And I feel like that spoke to me for a number of reasons.
Yeah. Poetry snaps.
Yes. Like, I'm like,
tell him. Yeah.
It's not just this movie. It's life in general. I think that this.
Let the kids speak.
Yes. I mean, on this podcast, we have said many times, listen to kids in movies. Because often they're not prejudiced to what's happening. They see it. They're not disillusioned by the same things that adults are, and they get it right away.
Yeah. So this is kind of rehashing stuff we've kind of talked about. Yeah, we get like the junkyard area with the first death, which is Matt's fake death with the fake entrails and his Tucker in the costume. I figured that went out really easily because like even before, because I was like, I quickly tracked. I was like, as he's stumbling out, I'm looking at the people sitting around the couches, and I was like, Tucker's not there. He's in the costume. I know what they're doing. Pulling one on Gwen, they got her really good, but yeah, it's like initiation in a way. And they're like, let's see if she can hang. How
Yeah, but they also gave us like this personality of their group. Like that whole thing just really showed us what their group was about and how it kind of is them against the adults, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of bratty, some of the stuff that they did, like with the teacher, but the way that he was, I totally understand why they did it. Yeah. Because he was just awful.
Yeah. Because I think even, like, Janet says something about that where she's like, he's an asshole to us all the time, so, like, we're going to dish it back. Like, it's not, like, unprovoked.
Yeah.
Next, Cole used to practice boy band dance moves in the mirror. And you know what? That actually doesn't surprise me a single bit. He's got boy band energy. And that's before I even knew about any, like, twist or anything. Not to say that, like, all boy band members are gay. But it was one of those things where I was like, you know what? I see that with Cole. Like, for whatever reason, he's got this, like, pretty boy thing going on with him. I was like, even if he was, like, fully straight, I could still see him being the kind of guy to be like, this'll get the chicks. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's got that energy for sure.
And you can get the impression that Rust resents him a little bit or is irritated with him by pointing things like that out and telling Quinn, don't, be careful who you trust, don't be around him or whatever.
Yeah. And I think it's the scorned, not lover, but scorned crush a little bit. Again, it's one of those things that they never actually spell out for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read between the lines, what I assume happened, what it really seems is like Rust and Cole were very close friends. Rust was out that he was gay or something, or like there's something came up where like there were feelings between them that were mutual, but Cole was like ashamed or scared. And instead of like admitting to that or like, them handling that maturely, I think what happened is Cole kind of was like, deeper in the closet kind of thing where he pushed Rust away and like found different friends and was like, oh no, I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. You're weird, whatever. To where there was kind of a scorned kind of thing where Rust felt that there was something between them. And then whenever he tried to like pursue that, it freaked Cole out and he ran away.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, with that, Rust felt like abandoned and betrayed a little bit. And so that's kind of where like this thing between them was. And so I love that when they're in that room and he's just like, I know you felt it too. Basically, he was like, there was something that we had something. Don't deny it. And the way Cole looks at him in like this way of like, you're right. Like he's like, I've been just trying to figure it out. It was the same reveal, like us as the audience. I loved even like Janet and Ronnie, like sitting there going, oh, like the light bulb comes on. And you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Okay. Got it. Like,
yeah.
I'm tracking.
And it makes so much make sense because when you think back to what we saw between him and Quinn, when Quinn was coming on to him real strong and he really wasn't reacting to it. Even in the car when she was kissing him, he kind of kissed her back, but yeah. So
seeing that first thing between Cole and Rust where it was like, oh, that's what happened. And the way he responds to that, he's like, I'm figuring myself out. I'm figuring things out. I was like, this is actually really cute. Mm-hmm. I was like, honestly, to her immediately, I was like, okay, I hope they can both survive this movie and be happy with themselves. Even if they don't end up together, I was like, I hope this is a growing moment for both of them. And then I was like, I'm officially Team Cole. Let your gay little heart be free.
Yep.
Let's now I'm rooting for you. And then when he gets arrested and he's the only one that gets arrested. And again, because you're like, it is suspicious. It's sus there to be like, why did they only take him? And it's like, well, because his dad's got to make a whole spectacle out of him. But it is still like a little suspicious. It's like, wait, there's that thing that makes you question, like, is he still in on it? Is there something? And but at this point, I like him a lot now, so don't you dare. I want to trust him.
Yeah. I'm shipping the couple that I didn't know I'd be shipping.
Right.
Now that I know that it's a thing or could be a thing.
Yes. So then that was the great moment whenever, Cole is hanging there and it looks pretty dire. Dr. Maybrook's not able to get the right leverage underneath him to help him. And then Rust comes in and I was like, there he is. I knew he'd pop back up.
Knight in
save the boy
armor.
He loves.
Yep.
I was like, he's got to save the boy he loves. Good on you, kid. There you go.
Yep. You knew that it had to happen. And I said to Chris, I'm like, I don't think Rust is dead. Even though he isn't around, I don't think he's dead. But I didn't know they were going in this direction. And now, once we got to the end and I saw where they were going with it, I was all in with it because I think now it explains his hesitation and the deflections and the rejections that he's done is he isn't comfortable with who he is, and he's coming to terms with that and accepting himself. And I mean, if you had a dad as wackadoo as his, I mean, it'd be real hard to figure out who you are. Because his dad was crazy. His speeches at the end, Kevin Durand is just so wonderful. And again, the voice was just not something I was used to. It was just, I don't know. It was a little campy, and I was not prepared for that.
He was a little bit like, I don't know if it was like, if it's a positive or a negative. I'm still not, my mind's not made up. Because I feel like it could be a negative if I'm just like, well, Kevin Durand's really channeling the Heath Ledger Joker. He's doing the lip licking and everything. Towards like, that's very, not unique. It's just like, there's like, not a creative choice if you're just doing something like, and so I was like, that could be a problem. But then if you like try to like justify it and take an extra layer, you're like, but what if that's like in character for the fact that like Arthur Hill is such a like stupid person. Like, that when he's trying to put on this character of Scary Clown Man, that's what he has as a reference, his Heath Ledger's Joker. He's like, that's what you do, like.
Yeah. Yeah. I was blown away. I'm like, I've never seen Kevin Durand like this. This is so like OTT camp, not that, I don't know. He's just got a way every character I've seen him play, he's always had this little thing in his voice that has sounded the same. Not in a bad way, but it's just, okay, it's Kevin Durand. This is what I expect from him. And in this case, it was like, oh, wow, you are the Joker. Okay. All right. And then he gets away. So, yeah.
So I guess while we're on that, I've got my friendo and murderers notes.
Is this where you have the Glenn, the doctor notes about...
No, I have his own separate one. So I can do that first?
Yeah, let's do him first, because he's...
Yeah, it's a short one.
He's great.
Yeah, is him heading out to go after Quinn, which I laughed again with him, like, deciding to check in on her and have this heartfelt talk after their argument earlier. And he starts off with, I know things are hard. And it's like, it's very heartfelt and it's very sweet. And then he goes over there to like pat her and then like realizes it's just the pillows and the way he's, God damn it, fucking teenagers. I'm like, yeah.
See, it's not that far for him to drink the Kool-Aid for this town, okay?
Right. Yeah. But then, so you see him, like, going off, and even, like, the voicemail he's leaving, where he's just like, it's a small town, I'll find you, and then, like, but he then flips from that, he's like, look, I'm not mad, like, I know you're going through a lot, just, I just want to make sure you're okay, and you see that he cares, and then that's where he goes by the clinic and sees the glass has been broken in and checks it out, and you see, the clown that got his hand blown off by Rust they got him to the clinic really fast, too, but then... it is a little bit of a like point of contention. I'd be like, how did they know he was going to show up there? Like the way it's like the doctor's here now. And it's like, there's no way you would have planned for him to show up there, but whatever.
Yeah. But clowns should listen to doctors, especially when they've been knifed in the throat and he tells him, don't take it out.
Right. I did like that. Because he's like having to help this guy under duress, and I was like, oh man. And then you see him like taking the moment to like while the other guy is like get the saline, and then like he like cuts the fabric to get the walkie-talkie out, and he's like planning, and I was like, okay, good. He's doing some stuff to get some kind of leverage. He's not just being submissive. It's like, all right, be a badass. Like, let's see what you're capable of.
Where does Quinn get it? From her dad, for sure.
Yeah. And so, like, we see, I was like, oh, he is a fucking badass, because fakes the flat line, so he gets the upper hand and stabs the guy in the neck. And yeah, it's like, he did tell him, like you said, like, leave it in there. And then the way he's just, like, started playing, he's like, no, now you're going to bleed out. I told you. Like, it's very much just like, that's on you. I was going to try to help. But then, yeah, the walkie hears over that. It's like, we're going to take her. He's like, if we get her, we're going to take her to the factory. So it's like, well, now he's just a dad on a mission to save his daughter. And he knows where to go. And so when we get there and like Cole is hanging and they're, the sheriff is about to shoot Quinn, and it's very much like, okay, somebody's got to come in and for the save because this is bad for them. I was like, it's either going to be Quinn's dad or Rust. We got both. But the way to start it was like, and it's Dr. Maybrook with the car through the wall. Here we go.
Of course it is. He was not going to let anything happen to his daughter. He was on it. He wasn't afraid. He didn't stay away. He showed up, which is what she needed, really.
Yeah.
As crazy as the situation was, I think for her to have him show up after everything was a step in the right direction for their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That and a ride in a clown car.
And just the running gag of every time she gets in a vehicle and going, fuck, it's stick.
Yep. I know how to drive a stick. I can drive it probably not under duress, but I could make it work enough to get away. Maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah. I've never driven a stick in my life. I'm not even going to try. Nope. Never learned. Automatics for me. The closest is I can do some like off-roading, like, side by sides, like, ATV stuff that have like shifts on them, but they're still like, it's, gears for like mountain, like with the driving with them. That's about it. But yeah. So yeah, if you have anything else on those characters, or we can get to my
I think we can move
murder notes
to Friendo.
Yeah. Which again, the opening of the movie I talked about a little bit is we get this party outside the Bay Pin corn syrup barn.
Bay porn sounds better. Come on.
Right.
Be real.
And immediately my thought is because it's Eli Craig and like something like Tucker and Dale is that the movie opens and I was like, there's a party outside the barn and it looks like a bunch of college kids. College kids.
And they were up to no good. And that's the thing.
But yeah, get kind of the typical slasher opening, like I said. Yeah. Even do like, and then now we jump to the future. Sheriff Dunn we talked about, Will Sasso. The factory stuff. I did like that reveal that like when they send the video of Tucker and Matt's like murder scene to scare Quinn and like make a video out of that, and they send it to her and like she's like, oh, that's fun. Like she's part of the group now. She gets sent the video. She gets to see, and then she realizes like there's another clown.
Yep.
Watching the filming. Who's the other friendo? And then that. Somebody could have been that one. Another one, as we learn now, that they are Legion.
Well, never fuck with friendo is a thing.
Never fuck with friendo. That's quite the sentence. When I heard that person, that old guy said it. Never fuck with friendo. I'm like, that's not something you expect to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then one of them, goes after Tucker, and he was very impressed with the whole setup until it was too real. Mm-hmm. And then, Kevin Durand, we see him. I'm always happy to see him. Great.
Always.
Casting in anything. And so, at first, I was trying to figure out what was going on. I was like, whoever's wearing the clown getup. Because you see, like, the teenagers are the targets, and there's a even more ridiculous reason when we get Mr. Hill's speech later. But at first, I was like, is it, the clown who's doing the murders is targeting the people that are wearing the costume as a prank? Because so far it was like first it was Tucker and then Matt, because he was the one that was in the parade who set the float on fire. So I was like, okay, so it's just like there is an actual clown who's like hunting down people who are like
impersonating
him or impersonating him. Yeah, and then it was like, no, it's different thing. Matt's death, the barbell saw kill was unique.
Good.
It was very unique.
That was good. We don't see a lot of that. Yeah. I like it when they make something unique. Like they bring something a little bit different. Because he's just there lifting and he's, alpha, male, strong, blah, blah, blah. And then he isn't. And those little red boxes.
Yeah.
Those are cool. The Jack in the Box. Oh, man.
This note's in here has nothing to do with the clowns, but because of the pun. Killer soundtrack. I liked the music choices in this movie.
Yeah.
Really good song choices. I talked about the sheriff taking just Cole and being like, please don't, I want to trust him. The with Ronnie's death, but the whole cornfield scenes of the movie was fun to watch for me because it just brought back memories. I was just like, oh, to chase people with a chainsaw. I miss those days sometimes. I've had quite a bit of fun cranking up a chainsaw from behind something and then popping out and charging a group of strangers. And no, I won't elaborate further. Don't worry about it. But
if you don't know what he's talking about, then you'll just have to listen to more episodes of Run for Your Lives, because the answer is somewhere.
It's probably in there somewhere.
In the 230 episodes before
it brought back good memories of chasing people with chainsaws, and I've had great times doing that.
Uh-huh.
And yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that. Also in the cornfield, we get the hand cover chain gag, is what I kind of call it, where Ronnie's freaking out, so Janet puts her hand over Ronnie's mouth, and then Janet starts freaking out, so then Quinn puts her hand over, and then the clown comes in from the side and puts his hand over Quinn's mouth. It was a memorable visual for sure. I like that gag.
I like when a gag is useful and fun and not overdone. And I feel like the way that was presented ticks all the boxes. Yes.
The big, some reveal at the end after Quinn is kidnapped and taken. There's in the biggest non-surprise in history, the sheriff's one of the clowns.
Who isn't one of the clowns?
I know, alongside the store clerk, the Trudy, the waitress, and Mr. Vern. And then Mr. Hill is the ringleader, if we want to use clown terminology. In a way, so I like getting that, channeling Heath Ledger, as I said. And then we just kind of get his little exposition and running down. Is we've got these it's like Hot Fuzz, like we were saying, this group of townspeople who are cleaning up the town and making sure that it's in order by cleaning up groups of people they don't like, whether it's hobos, hippies, or grunge stoners, or even his own son, because him and his friends have annoying social media interests, and that's enough to kill them all. These damn kids in their TikTok is really what that was. I'm tired of these kids and their tick and talking. I'm killing them all.
It takes me back to Hot Fuzz with the teenagers.
Those stupidest slights. They were that's why.
Yes. We can't have the golden statue man, and we can't have these kids. Yeah. We have to take them out.
Mm-hmm. But then this throw his own son under the bus. Then that's where my Scott Pilgrim reference has to come in, where I was just that's evil.
Incredibly evil. I mean, throwing in his face, blaming his son for his daughter's death, and making him seem worthless, and just saying he's going to start over. Dude, I don't know about that. Yeah. I don't see how you think you're going to start over. But, okay.
But that's all the notes I got.
Let me see what I have. Yeah. So, I'm going to end it with this. My thoughts when I got to the end of this movie with the speeches that Arthur gives and what Cole says just makes me think a lot about how there's division and the lack of how receptive people are to change and wanting to keep things the way they are, even if they should change. Mm-hmm. And that just reminds me a lot of the world today.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of it. No.
Yeah. That's the bigger, greater meaning that I took from that.
Yeah.
And then I'll also say that I liked the ending where Quinn went off on her own and took herself to school, and we get to see that Cole and Rust are now an item, and
Mm-hmm.
Cole seems more comfortable with who he is, and I liked that a lot. That was the couple I needed to ship that I didn't realize.
And Quinn's dad doesn't just stare hate daggers at Cole anytime he's nearby anymore.
Not at all.
They've patched some things up.
Yeah. It's much better. I think that, I really think that Glenn, Quinn's dad, really understands what Quinn was trying to tell him. And I do have one last thing I just remembered, a Quinn note. She was so cringed out with that sheriff calling her sweetheart, and I totally get that. I totally get that. I'm like, yeah, honey, darling, sweetheart. If you don't know me, don't call me that. But I think we've done it.
All right. That was fun. I'm glad this was one we did this week.
Me too.
And again, perfect timing, almost as if by design. The feedback phone has rung, and so
you better get it.
I'm gonna go get it. We do have a piece of feedback this week. Of course, Catherine's gonna be coming through for us as always with some thoughts on this movie. So she says, "It's hard to be fair when Clown in a Cornfield was released in the same year as Sinners, Weapons, and Frankenstein. Honestly, I want to throw Zootopia 2 on that list too." Sinners and Weapons we've talked about already so many times as being contenders for like best. Frankenstein I still haven't seen yet.
Me either.
Need to. I want to.
I feel like we'll cover it, right?
I would think so. Maybe. Yeah, probably. And it should be on my Oscar watch. We might see. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, long way of saying there's some great ones. Zootopia 2 I haven't seen yet. Probably also an Oscar thing, but we're not going to cover that one.
No.
Anyway, she goes on to say, "I'm interested in a rewatch mostly because I didn't really care for most of the characters early in the movie, so I wasn't too invested in their endings. But I enjoyed the ending. I recognized the sheriff from a character in a Big Bang Theory spinoff, and I never saw his twist coming."
Well, here's the thing about Clown in a Cornfield. I mentioned on the episode that there were books involved. Well, I actually listened to part of one of the books, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. I just didn't get a chance to finish it yet. But if you'd like to send in feedback, you can do so by finding us on Facebook and Instagram at Run For Your Lives Podcast, or you can email us at runforyourlivespodcast@gmail.com. You can go to runforyourlivespodcast.com for all the links you'll ever need. And if you're enjoying the show, tell your friends. We are available on all the podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and more. And if you feel so inclined to show us even a little more love, and that just fucked that up because, anyway, if you feel so inclined, give us a review on Apple Podcasts, as that is the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Of course, speaking of sharing the love, I got to give some shout outs to things going on in the Podcastica universe around us and beyond. A lot of great stuff to check out. A lot. So let's run through it real quick. Of course, my other podcast, Strange Indeed, is back and going. We have Stranger Things Season 5, the final season. Me and Rima are back to be covering that. And this week, you can check out our super-sized episode. We've got some holiday traveling stuff going on, so we won't be able to do an episode next week. So we decided to go ahead and throw episodes 2 and 3 together into one, but we made sure to give each episode its full time and breakdown. So it's a supersized episode of the podcast, but a lot of great stuff in those episodes. So definitely make sure to check that out over on Strange Indeed. Of course, Wax Episodic has got lots of great stuff going on over there as well. Pluribus coverage with Jason and Karen. And then Welcome to Derry. Sean and Jason have been doing that. Doing a great job over there. And then Season 2 of Fallout will be soon. Later this month. Probably very soon. Honestly, I don't have the exact date in head right now, but I know it's a December drop, so right around the corner. So definitely be staying tuned for that as well. Then on the newest Podcastica show, of course, They Did What, which is the documentary and like reality, true crime, things like that, coverage, true crime documentaries and stuff. Kelsey and Jen covering The Alabama Solution, which is an HBO documentary on an Alabama prison. So you can check that out over there on They Did What. Always got to give some love to Still Slaying, the Buffy rewatch podcast. So our good friends Penny, Sam, Kara, everybody that jumps in and out of that podcast doing all kinds of great stuff. Can check that out if you're a Buffy fan. This week you can hear season 4, episode 15, This Year's Girl. So they are just like, they pick out their favorite episodes from all over and jump around and have some fun with it. So check that out. And as I always say, beyond, because we've got some other great stuff, some friends of ours with other podcast networks doing great stuff. You can check out the Pirate Core Entertainment Podcast Network. A lot of good stuff going on over there as well. What's On Tonight is another podcast that covers a variety of different shows. So Becky and Mandy also covering It, Welcome to Derry over there right now. And then on Adrenaline Cinema, some action-packed movies and stuff over there. Mark and Steve are covering the new 2025 Edgar Wright directed Running Man. So you can go check that out. I went and saw that one in theaters the week after it released, and I had a really good time with it. So curious to see what they have to say about it. And yeah, definitely go check that out.
I am hoping that it will change my opinion of The Running Man by going and watching Edgar Wright's version, because I did not like the original at all.
It's a good one. I really liked this new one. But Edgar Wright, if you know me, you know, I mean, anything Edgar Wright touches, I'm all on it. So
yeah,
it's a good time. And then lastly, of course, our friends at TV Podcast Industries, a lot of comic booky stuff over there and things like that. So The Witcher Season 4 coverage over there on TV Podcast Industries. You can check that out as well. If you want more of me and Daphne outside of here, you can listen to us on the Buffalo podcast, joined by our great friends Jeff and Jerry, where we take a break from coverage and breakdowns and reviews and whatever of all kinds of different movies and TV shows, and we just have fun. Get together with no real plan in mind. Try to make each other laugh, have a good time. Somebody does bring a game each week. We kind of rotate on that. We play some games and be as ridiculous as we possibly can, and we always have a good time with it. Lots of laughs, at least from us.
Always.
And then, yeah, after you've gone and checked out all of that great stuff, you can come back next week right here to Run for Your Lives, where we'll have something fun and new for you. What are we doing next week, Daphne?
Well, when a sudden seismic event cracks open beneath Los Angeles, unleashing a river of molten lava, an emergency management director and a geologist race to contain the destruction that threatens to swallow the city street by street. We are discussing Mick Jackson's 1997 film, Volcano.
Yeah. Going back to that one. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Been a while since we've kind of jumped... Well, I said it's been a while since we jumped back to an older movie. 97, we just did Piranha from the late 70s. Not too long ago, right? So
yeah. Not that bad.
Not too long. But we'd like to throw back to some classics from time to time, of course.
Yeah. And this was an interesting one. Considering that we covered Dante's Peak way back in season 1, it took us 5 years to get to Volcano, basically. So it was fun to cover this one, and it will be dropping next week, so get your feedback ready.
Yes.
And with that, we've reached the end of another fun episode. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Never fuck with a friendo.